Okay, let's talk about flowers. We see them all the time, right? They're beautiful, they smell amazing, but there's a whole secret agent mission going on inside every single one. It's a complex machine built for one thing and one thing only, to create the future. And today, we're going to uncover that secret mission.
You've seen this a million times. A little bee buzzing around, doing its thing. It looks pretty simple, you know? Bees just grabbing a snack. But what if I told you that this little moment is one of the most important transactions happening on the entire planet? Because this is so much more than just a meal. This is the key to survival for countless plants. It's this incredibly intricate dance of attraction, reward, and pure biological engineering. So what is really going on here? Let's break it all down. First things first, to understand the mission, you gotta meet the team. Every single part of a flower has a very specific, super critical job to do. Think of it like a highly specialized toolkit perfectly designed for reproduction. So here it is, the basic blueprint of a flower. It's all organized in 4 main layers, or whorls, kind of like rings, starting from the outside and working our way into the center. Every single one of these parts is positioned perfectly to play its role. Let's meet them one by one. First up, we have the calyx. These green leaves you see at the base, called sepals, are basically the flower's bodyguards. Before the flower even opens, the calyx is wrapped up tight around that delicate little bud, protecting everything precious inside. It's the first line of defense. All right, moving inward, we get to the corolla. And this is the flashy part, right? The petals. You can think of the petals as the flower's advertising agency. Those vibrant colors and sweet smells, they aren't for us. They are giant, fragrant billboards designed to shout, "Hey, over here," to bees and other pollinators. Now, we're getting into the real hardware. Meet the stamen. This is the male part of the flower. It's got a simple but really effective design, a long, thin filament holding up the anther. And that anther? It's a tiny little factory, just churning out thousands and thousands of pollen grains. This is the precious cargo. And right there in the heart of the flower, we find the pistil, the female organ. It's got this beautiful flask shape. Down at the bottom is the ovary, which protects the future seeds. And at the very top, you have the stigma. That's the landing pad. It's sticky, and it's perfectly designed to catch any incoming pollen. Okay, so we've met the players, we've got the pollen ready to go. Now for the most critical part of the entire mission, getting that pollen from the anther all the way over to the stigma. This is pollination, and pretty much everything we've seen so far has been leading up to this moment. Now, plants basically have 2 main strategies for this. There's self-pollination, which is the simple approach. Pollen just moves within the same flower. But then there's cross-pollination. This is when pollen travels between completely different plants, and that's where the magic happens. It creates genetic diversity, which means stronger, more resilient plants. To pull off cross-pollination, plants have recruited 2 very different types of couriers. On one side, you've got the brute force method, the wind. Just throw a bunch of pollen into the air and hope it lands somewhere useful. On the other side, you've got the special forces, insects, the precision delivery experts. And you can totally tell which strategy a flower is using just by looking at it. It's fascinating. A wind-pollinated flower, it doesn't need to be flashy. It'll have small, dull petals, no scent, and it just makes a massive amount of super light pollen. But an insect-pollinated flower, it goes all out. Big, colorful petals, sweet nectar as a reward, and sticky pollen designed to latch right onto a bee's fuzzy body. So the pollen has been delivered. Mission accomplished, right? Not quite. Landing on the stigma is just the very beginning of the final and, frankly, incredible journey to make fertilization happen. So once that pollen grain lands, it gets to work. It literally grows a tiny tube that starts tunneling all the way down through the style. It's on a quest to reach the ovary. This little tube is carrying the male genetic material. And when it finally reaches an ovule and fuses with it, boom, fertilization. The mission is a success. Now that fertilization is complete, the flower's main job is over, but the show isn't. The entire structure now begins this radical transformation. This is the payoff. And here is the big reveal, the part that just blows my mind. The flower's work is done. The beautiful petals wither and fall off. And the ovary, that protected base of the flower, begins to swell and ripen, and it becomes the fruit. And inside those fertilized ovules, they develop into seeds, each one carrying the complete blueprint for a brand new plant. You can actually see the evidence of this transformation everywhere once you know what to look for. You'll often see a zucchini flower still attached to the end of the little growing zucchini, or look closely at an eggplant. That green cap on top, that's the calyx. Those original bodyguard leaves are still hanging on for the ride. A pomegranate is just the perfect example. That little crown on the top, that's not just a cute decoration. Those are the actual remnants of the flower's sepals. The fruit is literally wearing the crown of its former self. It's a direct, visible link to its past life as a flower. So every single fruit you eat is basically the trophy of a mission accomplished. It's the matured ovary of a flower that was successfully pollinated and fertilized. The next time you pick up an apple or slice a tomato, just take a second to think about the incredible journey that it represents. What story is it telling you?